All right, here we go. Good evening. Welcome to the Likutey Moharan Shir. Chair 60. We're in the middle of incredibly complex Torah. So, until today, we've established, Be'ez Hashem, that there are insights in Torah which are so profound that it is not possible to come to this kind of insight except if one is in possession of extraordinary wealth. And to come to this kind of wealth is by that the person lengthens, widens, and enlarges his days with Kedusha additions, with additional sanctity on a daily basis. That this is a bechina which is called arichas yomim, longevity. Bechinas zoken, old age, called atik, is ancient. Zoken is also a beard, because when a person gets older, his beard gets bigger, so forth and so on. And this bechina of arichas yomim is the receptacle into which one can receive this kind of wealth that one needs in order to have this insight. Now, to establish this kind of longevity, this arichas yomim, is through Yira. Yira Shamayim, that's the thing that makes it happen. And as we have learned, the Yira itself is divided into three bechinas. You know, the grandeur of the Kodesh Baruch Hu, which a person arrives through Chochmah Bina Das. There is the grandeur, there is the Yira of a person's learning Torah. That you learn Torah, Nevi'im, Ksuvim, you're learning in a way that is filled with Yira Shamayim, which means it's not a pursuit of intellectual knowledge or something which is like, wow, this is really far out kind of thing. But you're learning in order to be Mekayim, in order to. And the third one is when you apply the Yira Shamayim to the three bechinas of money, which is in your business, which is staying away from the attractiveness of women, and it is the union of tzedakah. It's called Moira Rav, Moira Avaim, and Moira Shamayim, Moira Rav, and Moira Avaim. These are the three euphemisms for these three types of years. And to bring this year, because there's okay, the person needs this year, good, but how do you make year come? So they said the way that you make year come, this we learned last week, is through Pkidas Akoros. In other words, that the barren become expecting and giving birth. So we said we got all the steps down pat, but we don't really know what we're talking about, do we? How on earth can I bring about that the barren will give birth? Rabbeinu explains how this is done, and in Mela we get a very profound insight on what is the meaning of Pkidas Akoros. Pkidas Akoros Nase, this is being done by the fact that you awaken people from their sleep, from their slumber. Now we will actually delve with some length how you actually awaken a person who is sleeping his life. Later on, we're holding Sif Vav. In Sif Ches, we will actually learn how this constitutes Knisakaras. Making the barren able to give birth. So, there are people who are sleeping away their days. Even though the people think they actually serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The learning and the davening. Still, their entire avodah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't derive any enjoyment from them. Their entire avodah remains in this world. And it's not possible for their avodah to elevate and to get up, to ascend. So just pick it up. That's what you need to do, I guess. Okay, what can you do? So let's explain for a minute. What does it mean that the avodah goes up, that the tefillah goes up, mitzvahs goes up? What's the meaning of it? If you're talking about tefillahs going up, Rabbeinu mentions it in Torah Kuf Yud Beis. Just take a little, zip up your jacket and we explained this a little bit, that whenever a person does a mitzvah, or is davening, or is learning Torah, there are two things that are happening simultaneously. First, there is the personal development, a shpur that happens to a person, what he does for him. But we know that our avodah influences all the spiritual universes. So when a person davens to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he doesn't have to send a WhatsApp message. HaKadosh Baruch Hu can hear you wherever you are. I guess so. Still heat? I don't know, it's still cold a little, yeah. Anyhow. The Kadosh Baruch Hu hears you no matter what. Kadosh Baruch Hu hears you wherever you are, from wherever you're calling him.
That's 28.
Anyhow, let's try to come. Is this too?
It's put on to the beat.
This one too?
Okay. Point at each one. Yeah. Just press the button. Which one? No, to put it up. Yeah.
Okay. So being a Kadosh Baruch Hu can hear you everywhere, and a Kadosh Baruch Hu is happy about you performing the mitzvahs. This is an obvious thing. But when a person is not connected to his seichel, meaning a person is not connected with his davening, with his performance of mitzvahs with his Torah learning. A person is not connected to the fact that there's a Kodesh Baruch Hu in the world, and I'm doing that which a Kodesh Baruch Hu wants me to do. And you're basically having an immediate relationship with the Kodesh Baruch Hu. If a person does not have that, that means that he's not connected to his seichel. Yeah, he's learning. Intellectually, he may be able to learn and everything else, but he's not connected to the real seichel. Now, the real seichel is when a person is awake, right? When a person is asleep, his seichel is still in his head, right? But it's not, a person not connected to it. There's dreams and so forth and so on. But a person not connected to his seichel. Another euphemism for the seichel is the ponim. He's not connected to his face, to pnei kedusha. When a person is not connected to his seichel, it means he's not connected to his face, as it were, his own face. It's a very important nakuda that every single person has a specific reason why he lives. And that particular reason is embedded in his name. That's why after 120 years, when a person passes away, they say that the Malach asks him, what is your name? And if a person doesn't remember, if the nifta doesn't remember, then he's in big trouble. Comes the question, what does it make? Remember my name, not remember my name. But now, according to this, we understand a person's name signifies the person's inyan in this world. Is the reason why he came into this world. And if a person is not connected to why am I alive? Why did I come into this world for? But he gets absorbed with, listen, that's life. What's life? Life is a magazine. How much does it cost? $3. $3 is a lot of money. Well, what can you do? That's life. It's like if a person is just, on the hamster wheel of life without thinking, without being connected to why am I in this world, that means a person is disconnected from his seichel, from his face. In Mela, he does not remember his name. Because the name signifies what is your goal, what is the reason, this is the function, this is the mission that you came to fulfill. So that's why after 120 years, the Malach asked him, what is your name? What have you accomplished with your life? What did you manage to bring about? Wait, let me think. Don't tell me. Wait. Don't. I know. Don't tell me. Come on. Serious. Anyhow. Literally, it's not a laughing matter. But when people are sleeping their lives, means that they're doing the actions. Kodesh Baruch Hu is happy that they're doing the mitzvahs. Kodesh Baruch Hu is happy they'll learn Torah. Kodesh Baruch Hu is happy that they're going to shul and to daven. But the davening is disconnected. The learning is disconnected. The mitzvahs are disconnected from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, disconnected from the seichel, disconnected from their faces, their true face, each person's face, his mission. his reason for being. Because Baruch Hu doesn't have nacha from that. Because Baruch Hu is happy for you that you're Shemit Torah, you kind of mitzvahs, you're learning Torah, whatever. But in order to give chayus to all the spiritual universes, this is not possible. This is not done. This ain't happening. And because this is not happening, that's what it means. Or we say the avodah doesn't go up, the tefillos don't go up, the mitzvahs don't go up. Means, yeah, you did the mitzvahs, Baruch Hashem. Yes, you learned Torah, Baruch Hashem. Yes, you daven Baruch Hashem. But you did not give the life force to all the universes that are dependent on you. So, because you are disconnected from the real reason why you're doing it. So basically, it's a superfluous kind of thing. You're not really connected. You're learning, but you might as well be, I don't know what, playing football or whatever. It's like a Baruch Hashem. You're doing things in Yiddishkeit. But you're really connected to the fact that the Kodesh Baruch Hu is in this world and you're doing what Kodesh Baruch Hu wants you to do. Basically, that's your lifestyle. And you're like it's not, as Rabbeinu calls it in Sichas Haran, he says that for us to understand, he says, right? What? Yeah, he calls it sleeping. Here, he calls it sleeping, right here. He says, he calls it sleeping. It means that, it says, the truth of the matter is that the real existence is, he says, we don't call eating and drinking avodah. We're calling davening, learning, this we call avodah. But eating and drinking and sleeping, we don't call this avodah. He said, the truth of it should have been the opposite. When a person is really in tune, when a person is connected, Mishlemus perfectly, davening and learning is this is that's not work, that's fun. Eating and drinking and this and that, what we consider to be, hey, that's life. No, that's work. Okay, so as far as we are from that kind of state of mind, this is how far we are from real connection to Kodesh Baruch Hu. And the thing is that when we are connected, when we are awake, we are connected to our seichel. We give chayos to all the olamas. If not, Baruch Hashem, we get whatever we get. The olamas get whatever the Kodesh Baruch Hu wants them to get just to exist, but we don't enrich the creation. Now, because the Ikar HaSeichel, now Rabbeinu explains why it cannot be elevated. The Ikar Chiyus of everything, the life of everything was Seichel. The Chochmah is the thing that gives life to a person, who possesses it. The Avodah, when the Avodah is Hashem. In Seichel, when it is with Seichel, when you realize that there's that who you're serving with this, then it's being injected, infused with chiyus, with life force, then it's able to elevate. That's all the Chochmah is Chochmah for Hashem. We're talking to hear about the own Chochmah. When a person falls into a bechina of constricted consciousness, I'm busy, I'm locked into whatever, my small little world, and I'm unable to see anything which is outside that. Anything which is beyond that. When that happens, this is called Moshe Katnos. This is called Sheino. It's called the paper. A person is basically asleep, looking at this world, being aware of what investments you have, what investments you don't have, how things go this, things go that, means that you are asleep. Because the real seichel is avodas Hashem. That's real life. That's why Rishonim Shem Yirachem, they're called dead while they are alive, because that's not life. So, we said it's sleeping is 1/60th of death, right? So if Rishonim are altogether spiritually dead, the people that are not Rishonim Chas v'Chalila, but not really connected to their seichel, to why am I doing this? What's the purpose of life? So it means that they're asleep. They're basically sleeping their life away. I mean, they may be busy with Torah, they may be this, with that, akol tov, but they're not connected to seichel amiti. Now Rabbeinu says, okay, what causes a person to fall asleep in his life? Well, he says as follows. That's, fairly straightforward, right? Taivas, bad deeds, cause a person to forget and to be straight. That causes their avodah to be without seichel, disconnected from seichel. Some people are el chayidin. The really, really, really beautiful people. Their stumbling, their faltering comes about through the act of eating. Sometimes when a person eats foodstuffs has not been purified, not ready for consumption of human being, that drops down his brain to a bechina of sleep. Now Rabbeinu says, it's the same thing in Gashmias. There are certain foods, that cause a person to be more drowsy, and certain foodstuffs, that like caffeine or whatever it is that make a person awake. The same thing, beruchnis. When the foodstuffs were not purified. What does it mean? It doesn't just mean that you're eating a maichel, which is maichel behema. Besides that, if you're eating a fruit that is not ready for human consumption, Rabbeinu says, it actually it can hurt a person's health, because it pulls his vitality. Yeah. If a fruit is not ripe, it still needs vitality, so it pulls the vitality in a person's vitality. A person, any kind of food, even if the food is fully ripe, but a person eats it, the end of Siman Kuf Ayin, Mishnebura Orachaim. Shulchan Aruch Orachaim. Ilchos, the Divrei Musar, the good and hoggus that the person should be knowing in the Suda. After different kind of details, different kind of fisurim and the hoggus, some of them, people don't even know, which are very, very important. Like, for instance, did you know that there is a prohibition from looking at someone eating and looking at his food, especially a guest? Drinking is something else. Yeah, you're sitting at a table, you have a guest. You're not allowed to look at him when he's eating, and you're not allowed to look at his plate.
The guest?
The guest is in your house.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to look at him when he's eating, or you're not allowed to look at his plate. Ah, what do you think that would be? Why do you think that this would be forbidden?
May feel uncomfortable.
You're
Talking to him, you're looking at him.
Yeah, but you're not looking at, when you're talking, just when you're talking to him, it said you're looking at him, you're talking to him. But you've never been to anybody's company and then suddenly you're watching, people are watching you eat? Never happened to you? Sure. A person can feel very self-conscious. A person can be unconscious, like, look how much he's eating. He's eating my food. Yeah. Not much. So the last thing that Shulchan says, it says you should eat in order to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not in order to enjoy a gourmet meal. When a person eats for the wrong purpose, that is called Ma'achal Shalom Mevura Ma'achal Odom. It means that you eat it. The beer doesn't mean that the beer was not made before you ate it. The beer is not done when you eat it. You're not eating it properly. You're not eating it for the right reason. You're not eating in the right fashion. The Baal Bir Likutey Moharan Nachman said about his father, Rachel Kulchiner, who was the Talmud of Ibn Nosson. He said that his father never salted his food, ever. Never added any food to his salt, or any salt to his food, whichever one comes first. On Yom Kippur, he just finished davening. You go home to make Havdalah, right? I was like, quickly. He would slow down. He said a little less time as a chila, a little less. With this, you're making the beer. With this, you're purifying your food for human consumption. That keeps you awake. That keeps you connected to why you're eating, to why you're. He says, even if a person is a kosher person, but what's a big deal? So I eat a steak every once in a while. It's like, you're allowed to enjoy it. Allowed to enjoy it. Allowed to enjoy it. Allowed to enjoy it means the food is putting you to sleep. Takes you away from where you're supposed to go and puts you in. It's about but when a person eats with kedusha, with sanctity, and with purity, that purifies his food. Then the food is fit for human consumption. Your food becomes lechem aponim. In Beis Hamikdash, there was this miraculous Indian of lechem aponim, called lechem aponim. This is, the loaves of the chalas that were in Kodesh HaKodeshim. Sorry, they were in the Kodesh, where the Shulchan was, and they had this kind of chalas, and the chalas were like they had this. They were made like different kind of like an open box from the sides, and a little bit. It took special art to be able to bake them without them breaking, and took special art to be able to bake them so they don't become moldy. And they were, as every Friday, they would bake them, and they would, on Shabbos, they would bring the challahs in, take the old challahs off the table, and the new challahs are putting in, and the challahs that they took off the table is being eaten by the kahanim. And that bread had two constant miracles about it. The first was that, the bread was baked on Friday, was put on a table for a whole week, and it was not just fresh, it was hot. It was still hot. And the second constant nesta was about it, that it doesn't matter how big a piece of a challah the kohen ate, he was always totally satisfied. He was filled. It was full up. So that's sort of like an American quality, right? In America, eat all you can eat, buffet, right? Kind of like the idea of filling up. It's like a.
That was founded in America?
Yeah, it does not exist anywhere in the world.
What? The Romans and Greeks didn't have that?
No. They didn't eat. They didn't. No, they had this idea of eating for pleasure.
Food.
The Romans and the Greeks and this.
And all you can eat.
No, they ate a lot and they wanted more. So, they threw up and they ate more. They made them throw up and they would eat more. But the reason why they were eating was not to get filled up. The reason they ate is because they wanted to enjoy more and more food. In America, what? There you go. They came prepared. In America, the idea of food is very simple, very straightforward. You get yourself filled up. A car drives into, a gas station, with the store, whatever it is, the restaurant, whatever it is, and you said fill her up. You basically mean two things: fill the car with gas and fill a person with food. Fill her up, all you can eat kind of thing. No, it's actually a mila. It's not a chisaron. As opposed to the Europeans that you're eating nightingale tongues, pickled with I don't know what. America, give him the food, man. Just give him the food, give it enough, all you can eat. Bro, $8 or $5, all you can eat buffet, and but when it's finished, and people are.
Europe, they have that too.
Because listen, they learn from America, but basically it's not the European.
The Chinese had all you can eat.
Anyhow, so we're talking about lechem aponim. So we have about lechem aponim. That's true. In China, every single room in the house has food curing or whatever in it, including the bathroom.
Hmm?
In China,
American
Chinese.
From the Chinese, I think.
That's it. No. But in China, in every single nook and cranny in the house, something happening with the food. Okay. I got you excited about food. Okay. Well, it was Chinese to him.
Chinese. That's who started.
So when a person eats b'kedusha, is chochmas odom toyeponov. This is lechem aponim. Lechem aponim is chochmas odom toyeponov, means that he is well connected to his face. In other words, a person is zoche through his eating to the illumination of sechel aponim or aponim. However, where did everybody go? Everybody's having a good time here. Hey, class. Hello. I know. What? Nothing personal. But when a person does not eat b'kedusha, azai oived panov, then a person loses his face. What does it mean? Hainu seichel. He's losing the seichel. He's losing the connection to why am I eating? What am I doing in this world? A person falls into a bechina of sleep. Rabbeinu is telling us here the whole mahalach. What is the perfection of this madrega? But the perfection of madrega is when you're doing it properly, you're connected to your panim. Then Rabbeinu says, what it is, how it is that how do you deal with people who fall off their madrega? But the thing is that if we are honest with ourselves, hopefully to some degree, we are wavering in and out, eating L'Shem Shamayim, not eating L'Shem Shamayim. And he says, well, I'm looking at my own eating, and I say, that's L'Shem Shamayim. I don't know, maybe once a year I can find myself eating L'Shem Shamayim. Maybe once in 10 years, I don't know. Was it? I ate, what do you want? Fuel. And most of the times, I really feel like having a shawarma. It's a kind of like a person finds himself like he's being sucked by this of eating, which promotes sleeping one's days. And it's not just eating. It's all kinds of different habits. And it is also possible and probably frequent that a person finds himself, you want it to fall again? No, put it over there. When a person takes a look at how he does things and why he does things, it's very easy for a person to sort of like just, what the heck? I'm not holding with this madrega. Anyhow, who am I kidding? Come on, you have to be realistic. I mean, come on, it's like it's too difficult. Or even if a person finds it, it's impossible. It's impossible. I just can't hack it. I can't do it. As we will see, the tzaddik is working together with you by telling you, Sipur and Mais Mishami Kadmonius. This is what we'll learn in session next week. But nothing can happen unless you have an awakening from below. Isarusa Diltas. You want it. You're trying. A person can find himself trapped in 1,000 kinds of yitzhar. Eating, looking at things, doing things, speaking, thinking, all kinds of stuff, which I know is wrong. And when I try to break away, I can maybe break away for a day or two. And then I find myself behaving badly for a whole week just to make amends for being a good boy for 2 days. I don't know if any of you can identify this kind of mishigas. But the point is that they're like, how frustrating is it? What am I doing? What am I doing this for? It's just, it's helpless. The answer is it does not need to be hopeful. It just needs to be, needs not to be hopeless. It doesn't even have to be hopeful. It doesn't matter whether there's hope or there's no hope. What matters is I look at myself, I do things, I sleep, whatever it is that I do that I'm not supposed to do. And every once in a while, maybe I can do something, and I go around and look at myself and I say like, man, I am totally worthless. But that's exactly the opposite of the way I'm supposed to look at things. The way I'm supposed to look at it is that the way that I am is the way that I am. It doesn't matter whether all my life I was like that or just lately I'm like that. It doesn't matter. The question is, what can I do to steal from the dominion of the Yetzer Hara over me? A Torah, a davening, a word to Kadosh Baruch Hu, a machshava d'kedusha. What can I do? I'm totally captive. I'm tied up, with a straitjacket. I can't do a thing. What can I chop out of this? Can I think a good thought? Yaakov Meir says, everybody knows that a bad thought is a bad thing. But people forget that a good thought is a good thing. If I can't do anything, at least let me think a good thought. If I can't learn a pasuk, learn a Mishnah. Chop whatever you can. Because what happens is that the tzaddik is working on the other side, as we will learn weiter. And once you awake yourself a little bit from below, the tzaddik awakens you a lot from above and lifts you up as Hashem and wakes you up. Hashem, more on this, Hashem next week. I wish everyone a good Shabbos. We're receiving the Torah this week, right? Yay! You're getting the Torah this week. We're getting the Torah this week. What? Yeah, this week. Hashem. I wish you a good Shabbos. It's Hashem. Once the Shabbos, we will meet again. And Kol Tuv, Kol Tuv.
Kol Tuv, Rabbi. Thank you. Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos.